Hello there. Welcome back to Dr. Robotnik's Ring Races. T-5. Including today's set of races, there are only 5 GPs that remain uncontested. If I'm quick about it, that should hopefully ensure that I'm done with this playthrough before 2.4 comes out and makes sweeping changes to the fabric of the game, as I'd much rather figure out all of the new mechanics, items and course layouts in my own time, without dealing with the stress of avoiding looking like a plum, recorded for all of the world to see on video. I've reached the point where I can proclaim myself to be moderately competent at the game, and I don't want to see all of that time spent learning and honing my skills set to naught when there's only 1 or 2 cups left. I'd like to continue following today's example, if at all possible, because I did pretty well for myself. For the most part. Let's see what I did right here in the Power Cup. Ramp Park was a story of 2 halves. Considering that was my first time even hearing about the course, lap 1 was pretty strong as I took the ramps well and built up a strong lead in the latter half of the circuit. I made a few mistakes here and there, for sure, but they generally weren't too major, and sometimes even helped me, like when I threw myself off the course right before the flag to pick up a pair of rocket sneakers in pole position.
I'll make that deal. How about you bitch? You make that deal?
I'd make that deal.
I don't blame you. Damn good deal.
It all went a little haywire moving into lap 2 though, as I suddenly forgot how to handle ramps properly, which is not good on a course named Ramp Park. I fell a little behind, but I was lucky enough that my repeated failings had caused my rocket sneakers to remain active for a remarkably long time, and I was able to use my last boost to cross a tripwire and get back into the competition. There was one final fright waiting for me, when a messy final corner caused me to lack the speed necessary to make it up the final hill. I burned every last one of my rings to try and make the speed necessary to get up it, but it wasn't enough and I saw bots overtaking me. But as it turns out, my panicking wasn't necessary. There were springs at the bottom of the hill, and they gave me the boost necessary to make it over the finish line, completely skint, but in the lead. Advent Angel is yet another course robbed of its music by the tyrannic streamer mode banning all copyrighted music. You might not notice though, because even without The Praise God in His Hand by Todd Edwards, great song by the way, the track has a sound all of its own. The sound of your constantly depleting ring count. The water in this stage steals your rings, so with 5 laps to get through, you better find a way to stop your wheels getting wet or accept that you're going to be broke by race's end. I ended up doing both. I think I must have taken every possible combination of directional trick and its respective path by the time I finished, but I also messed up at the final hurdle and went for a swim, making this the second course in a row that I finished with no money in the bank. Peanut Palace was nuts. Low-hanging fruit, but I had to go for it. I don't know where the lofty halls of Queen Pistachio came from, but I didn't stay in them for very long. I took out the 8 prisons hidden throughout in just under a minute, and so finally got myself an extra life. Clearly wasn't going to be getting any via the hoarding of capital. This final quarter of ring races has had a strange obsession with making me run through sewers, but Pestilence is definitely the best. For a start, it recognizes it's a cesspit filled with swarms of mechanical flies, and so hasn't given itself some smoozy name to fulfill its delusions of grandeur. Pestilence is a perfectly fine name for such a dismal place, although it does cause me to begin asking questions. If this is Pestilence, then what courses can be retroactively named Death, Famine, and War? I think I know my picks, but name yours in the comments. Anyway, the actual race was fairly uneventful. I got into a few accidents, but none actually hurt me all that much, as even a banana right before a massive jump only served to make Mechasonic spin for an uncomfortably long time. It's a good thing there's a robot, because if he wasn't, he'd be spewing his lungs all over the place. Though I suppose that would hardly make the place any more unhygienic than it already is. I ended up leapfrogging the competition on the penultimate jump, because the bots are really bad at fast falling correctly to make it onto the road properly. And finally, I finished a race with some rings in my pocket. Crimson Core was a good reminder that it's not just your rivals that can be a pain. The other bots are more than happy to get in the way as well. My first lap had me being constantly blocked by Zip, who'd failed to do anything but get in the way and stop me from closing the gap with the front runners. Then there were Emerald and Buck, who completed what I'm calling the trio of tan twats by hounding me with flame shields. None of it mattered in the end, because I did manage to get first after finally breaking away from the crowd, but I could have done even better had they not been so persistent in ruining my racing lines. Hydroplant is certainly something. A colossal, multi-story prison break arena with a whopping 20 prisons to destroy, topped off with a cycle of constant flooding and draining. There were so many prisons that I really didn't know where to start, so when I missed a shot on one, rather than do the sensible thing and make sure that I had taken out every prison on the starting level, which also happens to be the highest point of the map, I instead jumped down into the pit below. I did destroy a few more prisons down there, but I wasn't keeping track of how many Gatsa bombs I had on hand, so when I missed a lob and didn't have any more to throw, I floundered and ran out of time. With how many prisons there were, even destroying 7 of them netted me the lowly E rank. Viva Las Vegas. I've never been to Sin City myself, but I must say that this isn't what I picture when I think of it. I imagine casinos, fountains, hotels, the strip. Not spaceships and roller coasters. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, I guess, even down to the rocket ships. I was pretty much perpetually stuck in third place, having failed to make good use of the ride droids at the start of lap 1 and 2, and even a successful ride on a garden top did absolutely nothing to change the composition of the leaderboard. It was an exciting race nonetheless, because Vegas is a sprint race, and so you never know what's coming up next, but I finished pretty much as I had started, a stalwart bronze medalist. For all other races I had finished with 0 rings in my pocket, and for all other races I finished in second or third, I had still somehow made up the points required to make it into the Power Cub's sealed star, Roulette. I entered with a half dozen continues on hand, but I could have had double or even triple that, and it still likely wouldn't have made a difference. This gauntlet tests your abilities to handle bumpers, and no matter the game or the context, I cannot do that. They've been placed in such a manner that even if you were to only skim past one, barely touching the damn thing, you're still going to be bounced back with enough force to fall straight into the void, and with enough speed that no form of braking is going to hold the inevitable. There are probably worse sealed stars out there. I hear the final one is a doozy. But roulette is the one that best plays against all of my weaknesses, and I stood no chance of even getting close to the emerald. Those failures in roulette had once again proven catastrophic for my final score, marking this as yet another C rank. I still maintain that Shield Star continues shouldn't count to your continue penalty, but here we are. I had also managed to pick a decent reward for once, Rappy, the Phantasy Star Online mascot. Oh, and the Genesis Cup as well. That's a little more plain, but important because it's going to be our target in the next episode. Between recording this footage and scripting this episode, I also streamed the completion of a few dozen other challenges, which resulted in a lot of cool unlocks. But I'll give you the lowdown on that next time, so make sure you're there. For now, I hope you enjoyed the video, and ciao.